Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another video. In this one, I'm going to be doing a cognitive function test. Ever since I did my personality type test video, a lot of you guys have been telling me that I need to do a cognitive function test. So I'm going to do it. This one is by idrlabs.com. I'll leave the link in the description if you guys want to do it yourself or follow along with me. And if you do end up doing it, share your results in the comment section below. I'm super excited to see what the results of my test are going to be, so let's jump right into it. So for reference guys, I am an INFJ personality type. Okay, question 1. I enjoy and am naturally good at saying just the right thing to help people feel comfortable by recognizing their emotional needs and empathizing with where they're coming from. Yes, I do this a lot. I always try to be the counselor for people and help people with their problems. And I definitely read their emotions to be able to help me to do that. So yeah, I'm going to strongly agree. When thinking about history or past events, a flood of stimulating images tends to crowd my mind. Yeah, actually, I would agree. Sometimes I don't always think in images when thinking about historic events, maybe in facts or in data some of the time. So I'm going to partly agree with this. I can really get annoyed when people act inefficiently instead of having their act together. I wouldn't say I get annoyed by it. Maybe sometimes it can be annoying depending on the severity of it. I'm not bothered by conformity or the conventionality of suburban life. I am bothered by it a bit, but I'm not completely disgusted by it. I'll disagree. Having my own sense of style is important to me, and my style usually differs from the ordinary standard of beauty. While I don't follow trends in style, that's definitely for sure, but I'm not super outside of the box either. But I will agree. When expressing my disagreement with someone's views, I always remember to affirm the person behind the opinion. I do tend to do this a lot. I will disagree with them, but I will kind of dissociate the opinion from the person. I don't want to offend them, so I will strongly agree. Question 7. I often maintain an impartial and impersonal attitude, even in cases where a more personalized approach would have been more suitable. I inject my personality into things sometimes, but not all the time. I'm just going to leave this neutral in the middle. I guess it really depends on what the situation is. I don't have a blanket answer for this. I have it in me to see people who are not as introspective as I am superficial. I do have a bad tendency to think that of people. I know it's not the best opinion to have, but I will agree. I don't always do it, so I'm not going to strongly agree, but yes. I naturally see the good in other people before I deliberate on their faults. Yeah, I always try to find the good in somebody, for sure. Strongly agree with this. I can be fastidious about saving money and avoiding waste, even if I don't need to be. Are you cheap is the question. Yes, strongly agree. I appreciate and usually adhere to social norms like politeness and the proper forms of address. Most of the time. I wouldn't say strongly agree, but I feel almost embarrassed if I go completely out of the norm. Somewhat agree. I've often succeeded by being more audacious and daring than most. No, I wish this was a quality that I did possess. I would love it if I took more risks, but that's just not the person that I am. I would say I strongly disagree with this, unfortunately. I tend to present my case as an indissoluble whole that is more than the sum of its parts. I do try to get people to look at the bigger picture, so I would strongly agree. People who think they can intellectualize everything usually have no clue. I don't fully agree with this, but I partially agree. Sometimes I find myself turning even leisurely pursuits like vacations and party games into tasks that are in need of rules and organization. I am kind of like this, especially when it comes to some board games that are supposed to be fun. I just kind of go super hard into the rules and it just becomes a task or something. Not all the time. I definitely know how to have fun, but I will partially agree. I'm constantly forgetting where I put important papers and the like. Proper storage isn't my forte. Strongly disagree. I know where every little bit of everything is. I love to organize things. Strongly disagree for sure. I generally finish every major project that I start. No, not at all. Strongly disagree. What happens is I'll be invested in something and super interested in it for a while until it becomes not so new anymore and I lose interest. So strongly disagree. People who whine about the regimen of their workplace or the 9-to-5 routine should suck it up or find another job. No, not everybody is in the position to suck it up and find another job. Unfortunately, like myself, some people just have to work 9-to-5 jobs. That's just the reality of it, and complaining about it is part of the fun. So I often burn with interest for a subject only to suddenly drop it once it doesn't feel new to me anymore. Strongly agree. Yeah, like I just said earlier, that's definitely me. Things are what they are. Whatever we say about them is often secondary importance. Things are what they are. But what we say about them is almost as important. The conversations that things create, those things spark change. So definitely strongly disagree. I tend to find myself agreeing with those who argue that a worthwhile end justifies the means. No, I don't always agree with them because those means could be some egregious things, you know? So I strongly disagree. It is important to be true to yourself and honest with others about who you really are. Yes, that is one of the main points of this channel, to be honest with everybody about who I am, and in turn I will figure out who I am, because let's be honest, we all don't know exactly who we are, but it is very important to figure that out. I often sympathize with the underdog in a conflict. I can't help it, I just do. Not really, actually. Sometimes I root for the winner and the guy that everyone loves. It really depends, I guess. Sometimes I'll root for the underdog, but not always. So partially disagree. I'm constantly brooding over the essence of a problem. I can become quite obsessed in this regard. I wouldn't say I become obsessed about it. I do acknowledge what it is and I try to figure out how to solve it. I'm going to stay right in the middle on this one. People who want to plan everything are usually at a loss for how to adapt. This is kind of me, and I realize that I am at a loss, so I would totally agree. Seizing opportunities as they arise is more effective than planning. It's not more effective, they're both good in their own regard, but seizing opportunities is super important, so I'm going to partially agree. Because planning is also very effective and important. I could see myself just ditching everything and starting an entirely new life in a new country with a new line of work. No, I am terrified of change. I strongly disagree. Reaching the goals is more important than having a comfortable process. No, you want your process to be comfortable. Well, not always comfortable. You want it to be a challenge and engaging as well. And the goals are important, but you don't want to be completely having a horrible time getting there. So I'm going to say it's more important than having a comfortable process, yes, but I wouldn't strongly agree. I'm at a loss for how to conduct myself around hierarchy and authority. It's not that I am always against these things, I just don't know how to process them. I guess I do find myself a little bit uncomfortable around higher up people, celebrities and CEOs and stuff like that. I'm not at a complete loss. Like, I know how to put on some sort of semblance of an acceptable personality. So I'm going to partially agree. I am someone who spends more time fine-tuning definitions, concepts, or techniques than is probably prudent. I do fixate on little things. I want to get things completely down before I move on to the next thing, kind of learn something sequentially. Yeah, I think I spend more time than I probably should. I am someone who speaks just as much to the values and moral faculties of others as I do to their reason. I strongly agree with this. I definitely do look at the values and the morals of what someone's doing, for sure. I can discuss theory for hours. It doesn't need to lead anywhere as long as the discussion is erudite? Erudite? What is that word? I'm assuming interesting or something? I can have a lot of fun just discussing theory, for sure. I am known for doing things properly and by the book. Strongly agree. I'm textbook. For sure. My own introspection and musings can keep me occupied for hours. I can definitely be introspective and have my musings, but maybe not for hours. Maybe give me half an hour. Something like that. I'm not one to over-interpret things. Strongly disagree. Little things that someone says in a conversation or something like that, I'll just like mull over it for hours. Think about how I could have said things different or whatever little tiny details. I definitely over-interpret things for sure. I am more interested in discovering how something works for myself than in implying that understanding to the affairs of others. I do love to figure out how something works for myself, but part of the fun in that is applying it to other people and other situations, teaching people about it. I love sharing new knowledge for sure. So disagree, strongly disagree. I can never just stick to the task at hand. I always end up branching out and following new leads, possibly even leaving the original work half finished. I usually finish tasks, Like before I said I don't finish major projects all the time, but small tasks, if like I need to clean my house or something, I'll finish it. I definitely won't get distracted. I'm going to disagree because sometimes I do end up branching out. It depends on how long the task is or how many steps are involved, I suppose. So I'm going to partially disagree. It is annoying when people dress weirdly or do weird things just to stand out. Just to stand out, yes, I do think that's annoying. If you're dressing weirdly or doing weird things because that's who you are and you're expressing yourself, that's awesome. I don't find that annoying at all. But it is annoying if they're simply doing it to get attention and they're not being true to themselves. Being empathetic and kind to others is among the most important things in life. Strongly agree, for sure. The world would be a better place if everybody was empathetic and kind to everyone else. It is important to assess whether what someone is saying is fair and correct, and to be sympathetic to where they are coming from. Not really, because if someone is super misled on a subject and they feel a certain type of way about it, that is their current reality. So it doesn't really matter what the facts are in that situation. It matters how the person feels. So it's not more important to assess the validity of something. The person is more important. So strongly disagree. I have good awareness of my physical surroundings and I am not one to miss something that's right in front of me. 100% agree. If I'm on a bus or something, I'm completely aware of every single person around me. I'm constantly aware of my surroundings. So yeah. Fully agree with this. It is all fine and dandy to produce an insightful analysis, but if it doesn't contain a blueprint for action, the value will be limited. But that's what collaboration is for. I mean, people who invent things don't necessarily engineer them. So the value, it's not really limited actually. You could argue the opposite, that it's so valuable to be able to create something so freely and not have to worry about engineering it. So I strongly disagree. I don't tailor my message or mode of expression to suit my audience or the people that I'm with. No, I definitely do. Strongly disagree. It sometimes makes me restless that most things in life are variations of something that has come before it and not really new. No, that doesn't really bother me. Everything is just recycled, everything else, and that's just how things go. It's fine. I can almost always think of something quirky and offhanded to say. Am I funny is pretty much what it's asking. I can't always think of something, but I'm always trying, for sure. So I'm going to partially agree. It is important to leave a society to the next generation that is just as good or better than the one we inherited. Yeah, I definitely think part of our role as humans is to better humanity for the rest of us, right? Strongly agree. I don't judge other people, and I don't concern myself with how they might judge me either. Live and let live, I say. No, unfortunately, I do judge people a lot. It's probably because of my own inferiority complex or something, but yeah, I definitely judge a lot. I am more of a realist than most people I know. I think so, yeah. I'm not the most realist person I know. I'm going to just partially agree. Okay, finished. That's it. So let's check out these results. Cognitive function test. Your most pronounced cognitive function is... ? Multiple results. While almost everyone has a dominant cognitive function, your answers on the present test left you at a tie between two or more functions. If you are still curious, you may take this test again, or do a traditional Jungian type test instead. Huh, interesting. Okay. What is this all about? Guys, what does this mean? I think I'm gonna need you guys' help on this. I'm pretty new to all of this stuff, so I don't know exactly what these things mean. Introverted feeling, extroverted feeling. Is it saying that I'm just balanced? I don't really know. Super curious to what you guys think about this. These are my numbers here. Please, leave a comment section down below. Let me know what this means because I'm very confused by it. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave me a like. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see any of my other test videos, I'll leave a card for the playlist. I just hit 100 subscribers, which is awesome. So I'm super excited to grow the channel even more, and I would super appreciate your help with that. Thanks for hanging out, you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.